me, Nayla. How are you guys? I missed you guys so much. I know it's been like almost October, September, November, December, January, February, March, April. You guys, it's been 7 months since I've posted, and I have been trying to post this video non-stop, and either one thing or the other, you know, it gets lost, it doesn't come out well, something has been going on where I cannot post this video, but I'm posting it today. Let's hope it works. So last video I spoke about how I wanted to speak about my religious testimony and just like my experience with religion and like different types of religious communities that I've been a part of. So I'm gonna start by, you know, talking about how it was for me before I found where I was like, I felt most at home, right? So I grew up Catholic. My family's Mexican, and I grew up Catholic. And it was, you know, maybe until I was like 10 or 11 that we wouldn't go to church regularly. I knew God existed, right? And I knew, you know, that there was a Trinity, right? So God and his son Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. So I was kind of introduced to Judeo-Christianity when I was a kid. So I accepted that, and I believed in God and everything, and my health experience and then things like that led me to believe, you know, maybe there is some sort of a purpose for me because of everything that I've been through, or, you know, things like that. So my sister ends up having some really weird paranormal stuff start happening to her in our house, and it really scared us. And my sister said that one day she prayed for God to kind of send her help, because she was getting terrorized. People were like pulling her feet at night, and it was horrible. Like, it was demonic stuff. It was horrible. And we ended up receiving some Mormon missionaries, which is the Church of Latter-day Saints, and they introduced my sister to that church, and she really liked it, and we started going with her. She got baptized, my dad got baptized, my sister got baptized. But for me, I was a teenager, so I didn't really like it. I felt like I was being controlled. I felt like it was just not for me, and my family was just trying to like push me into it. So it wasn't really the place where I could grow. And my mom, she was like, no, I'm sorry, I'm Catholic, I'm not gonna go into another religion. So I was there for about 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, for about 5 years. And in those 5 years, like, I would listen, and out of respect to my family, I would be there, but I just didn't feel like it was the right place for me. So when I was 17, in my previous reviews, I talked about how I was, and this is a trigger warning, I talked about how, you know, I had really bad depression, I was very suicidal, I stopped believing in God. Like, I just felt really, really sad and just angry, and it was just a very hard time for me. So in my English literature class, we read this book named Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. It's a fictional story, right? It's a fictional book, but he kind of explains a little bit of the beginnings of Buddha, which is a man that was named Siddhartha, and he became Buddha, which is connected to the religion of Buddhism. And they taught us about the Eightfold Path, and actually have it in my phone. I don't want to give out any misinformation. So in Buddhism, they believe that suffering is the root of everything in our lives, and that suffering is caused by desire for everything. So if we follow the Eightfold Path and we try to abstain from things, that we will be able to stop suffering. And in this moment in my life, I just felt a lot of pain, and I wanted to get rid of that pain. And I thought, you know what, I'm suffering, and maybe this is the way for me. So I started to kind of like do some research about Buddhism and trying to get into it. But it just wasn't the right religion for me. And I thought, maybe I should give, some other things a chance. So I went into astrology. I thought, okay, maybe if I look at what zodiac sign I'm at, which I'm a Leo. So I thought maybe if I look into zodiac signs, and I could try and figure out, what are my weaknesses, what are my strengths, like compatibility, like who am I compatible with, and it became something really close to me. And in those moments, I would like try and reach out to tarot card readers and things like that. And I was in this Facebook group that was for Leos, and this man approaches me through Messenger, and he starts talking to me. I actually couldn't find the picture, guys. I'm so sorry. But that's kind of the gist of Buddhism in terms of, in a quick recap, right? But if you guys want to know more, I would most definitely recommend, in any of the subjects that I talk, I would recommend researching more into it. We need to be knowledgeable about things before, judging them or not knowing. So he approaches me. He starts talking to me about how we can be our own God, and how we don't have to like suffer anymore and things like that we can kind of control everything, that we don't need to follow a God, that we are gods. And at first I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm very open to listening to people before judging, or before making up my mind about them. So then he's like, I'm a part of a Satanist church. And I said, whoa, like, this is interesting. But in my ignorance, I kind of pushed him away, because it's kind of like the name of it, and I'm like, oh, Satan, and it's scary, and given my history with paranormal stuff and my family and my Judeo-Christian beliefs, like, it was just really scary to me. So I kind of was like, oh, and I blocked him, bye. So I was still pretty lost, and I was really sad, and I was suicidal, and it was just not a good time for me. I go into college, and I meet this Christian group. And in this Christian group, I start, learning more about God, learning more about who he is, and Jesus Christ, and what he did for us, dying for our sins here on earth without, being sinless, and understanding more of the stories in the Bible, and how they connected to certain experiences that I had as a child. When I was a premature baby, my eyes were closed and I couldn't see, and a doctor had to like open surgery on them, and I couldn't see. I was like completely blind, and they had to have surgery so I could see at least something. And in the Bible, there's this story where Jesus Christ, as he's walking here on earth, he gives a man his sight, a blind man his sight, and he puts like clay on his hands, or like dirt from the floor, and then he spits on them, and he like tells him, go and wash your eyes, and you will see now. And I felt like in that moment, when I couldn't see as a child, God gave me sight. And that was physical sight. And then now, 17 years later, 18 years later, he was giving me spiritual sight to see the realities of my life and my heart and what was going on. So I was there, and there was so many things that I was still learning about. And I had a sort of an issue in the church, because I had a boyfriend, and certain parts of my Christianity weren't clear yet. So we ended up getting together in a way that only married people should get together, according to the Christian standards, and like suggestions, and like, I wouldn't want to say rules, because when people hear rules, it's kind of like, oh, you can't do that. But in reality, I mean, they don't want you to, because it opens the door to other things. So the church finds out, the Christian group finds out, and they kick me out. And they're like, we can't have you here, you're bringing in all this sin. And I really needed them in that moment, and I was very lost. And I feel like God had me go through that, because I needed to understand what it felt for other people who might have been kicked out for certain things or for other things of churches, you know. And I ended up leaving. I went back, actually. We cleared the air. I went back, but then I graduated. The pandemic happened, and then I graduated in December. And I just, you know, with work and everything, I'm not really with them anymore. I don't attend their services anymore, their, you know, home meetings and things like that. So I ended up actually getting baptized with them, though, and that really opened up the door to a lot of self-discovery and things that needed to have healing in my heart and things like that. So I did that. I'm really happy that happened with them. And these, you know, with the pandemic and stuff, I started to feel really lonely, and I started to say, you know, God, like, why can I have a good church? Like, it's always something that's been going on, and I don't feel like home, and I feel sad, and I feel very, very torn apart by it. And God spoke to my heart and said, you know, you should start working out. You should start moving, which is what I'm going to be talking about in my next video, my fitness journey and how I've started with that. So I started looking for a dance school, and I found this Christian dance school, and it was so cool. It is so cool. I'm going right now, and it's been awesome. And I feel the love of Christ there, and it's been great. And you know, the owner of the school, her sister is a pastor, and it's awesome. And I've been going there. I just started like 2 weeks ago going to the church services, but I genuinely feel like I am home, and I'm so happy that God has moved me through all of these hoops and all of these jumps to kind of get me to where I am. But I'm so glad that I've been dealing with those things, and I've been trying to find ways to be closer to God. And I just want to encourage y'all that, you know, if you have the chance to hear about Christianity, you know, go for it. There's nothing to lose. If you have something in your heart and you need healing, God is a healer. My whole life I've been very sick in several ways, emotionally, mentally, physically, and He's healed me in every sort of way. And yeah, that is my testimony, you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. Comment about your religious journeys, even if you're not Christian, even if you're a part of other religions. I am open to hearing from people. I don't want to like have anyone feel like just because I'm focusing on Christianity in this video doesn't mean that I'm not open to hearing from other people. And I love y'all very, very much. I missed y'all so much. And I will see you in my next video about fitness. Bye.